that low, guttural rumble. It's a vibration that doesn't just buzz in your hands. You feel it deep in your chest, a primal thrum that speaks of power and potential. A slight twist of the throttle, and the world around you begins to stretch and warp, the painted lines on the road blurring into a single hypnotic streak. This is more than just motion. This is freedom. This is the communion between rider, machine, and the open road. It's a raw, unfiltered connection that nothing else on Earth can replicate. It's a cocktail of pure adrenaline, absolute focus, and a feeling of being completely and utterly alive. But that feeling, as potent as it is fragile. In the fraction of a second, it takes for a distracted driver to drift into your lane, for a hidden patch of gravel to appear mid-corner, or for a deer to leap from the twilight shadows. That glorious sense of freedom can be violently shattered. It shatters into a brutal reality of twisted steel, the shrill scream of sirens, and consequences that can alter the course of your life forever. You believe you're a good rider. You've clocked thousands of miles. You know the personality of your bike, the secrets of your favorite roads. But what if I told you that the greatest dangers you face aren't the obvious ones? They aren't just the drunk drivers or the sudden downpours. The most insidious threats are the silent mistakes. The small, almost invisible lapses in judgment. The bad habits that have been baked into your muscle memory over years of riding. The subtle errors that even seasoned veterans make every single day. These are the mistakes that quietly stack the odds against you, turning a ride that should have been a cherished memory into a cautionary tale told by others. Today, we are not just talking about riding. We are talking about survival. We are going to dissect the most common, yet most dangerously overlooked safety mistakes that can land you in a world of trouble. And by the end of this journey, you won't just be a more aware rider. You will be a harder target to hit, a more difficult rider to surprise, and a much smarter operator of that beautiful machine between your legs. This isn't about instilling fear. This is about handing you the keys to absolute control. Now, before we get into the very first mistake, I want to ask you something. If you believe that mastering this craft is a lifelong journey, not a final destination, and if you are committed to not just riding, but riding with profound skill and intelligence, then do yourself and every rider who will watch this a favor. Take 1 second to subscribe to the channel and be sure to ring that notification bell. We are building a global community of riders who choose preparation over panic and skill over simple luck. Your engagement helps us reach and empower more riders just like you. We want you to be a part of this movement. Thank you for that. Now, let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Dressing for the destination, not the inevitable slide. We have to start here because it is the most fundamental and most frequently ignored principle of riding. You've seen it 1,000 times. It's a perfect sun-drenched day, and a rider blasts past you in a t-shirt, shorts, and a pair of canvas sneakers. They're dressed for where they're going. The beach, the coffee shop, a friend's house. They look cool. They feel the wind on their skin, but they have completely, utterly ignored the single most unforgiving law of two-wheeled physics. Sooner or later, gravity and friction will have their say. The pavement does not care how short your trip is. It doesn't care that you were just going down the street. Asphalt is a merciless abrasive, and it will peel your skin away with brutal, horrifying efficiency at any speed above a brisk jog. This is not pessimism, it's pragmatism. It's about respecting the violent forces you're commanding. The solution is a simple mantra, yet so many riders resist it. All the gear, all the time. ATGATT. This means a full face, DOT or ECE certified helmet, not a novelty skull cap that will shatter on impact. It means a proper armored motorcycle jacket, not a fashion hoodie. It means abrasion-resistant pants reinforced with Kevlar or a similar material, not a pair of denim jeans that will disintegrate in less than a second of sliding. It means sturdy, over-the-ankle boots, not sneakers that will fly off your feet. And it means gloves, every single ride. Your hands are your first line of defense when you fall. Your gear is your personal exoskeleton. It is your crumple zone. It is the only barrier between your soft, fragile body and a world of hard, unforgiving surfaces. Dressing for the slide isn't a chore, it's a mindset. It is a declaration that you take your safety, your life, and your passion seriously. Mistake. Number 2. Outriding your line of sight. This is a subtle killer that has nothing to do with posted speed limits. You can be riding perfectly legally and still be moving far too fast for the actual conditions. Outriding your line of sight simply means you are traveling at a speed where you cannot possibly come to a complete controlled stop within the distance you can see is clear. Picture yourself cresting a sharp hill or diving into a blind corner. The road ahead of you is a giant, unanswered question. Is there a stalled car just over that rise? Is there a carpet of wet leaves or a patch of spilled diesel at the apex of that turn? Is a tractor pulling out of a hidden farm gate? At 60 miles per hour, you are devouring 88 feet of road every single second. Your perception reaction time, combined with your motorcycle's physical braking distance, can easily consume 200, 300, or even more feet. If you can only see 150 feet of clear road ahead, you are not riding, you are gambling. You are betting your life that the road ahead is empty. The solution is to make your vision, not the speedometer, the governor of your throttle hand. The constant question in your mind should be, can I stop inside the distance I can see? If the answer is no, or even maybe, you are going too fast. Period. Slow down before you enter blind corners. Ease off the throttle before you crest a hill. Treat visual obstructions like solid walls until you can see past them. This single habit is what separates reactive riders, who are constantly being surprised and panicked by hazards, from proactive riders who seem to have all the time in the world to calmly and smoothly deal with whatever the road throws at them. Mistake. Number 3. Living in the invisible zone. So many riders operate under the dangerously false assumption that because it's a bright, sunny day and their headlight is on, they are visible. To the average driver, cocooned in their 2-ton metal box, distracted by a podcast, a screaming child, or a text message, you are not a motorcycle. You are, at best, a flicker in their peripheral vision, a momentary glint of chrome that their brain barely registers before dismissing. The invisible zone is any position on the road where a driver is unlikely to see you, primarily in their massive blind spots. Riders commit this error constantly by passively cruising just off a car's rear quarter, a black hole where they are completely hidden from all of the driver's mirrors. They also do it by failing to use strategic lane positioning to their advantage, instead just planting themselves in the center of the lane and hoping for the best. The solution is to ride as if you are wearing an invisibility cloak. Assume nobody can see you, and then take active, deliberate steps to prove that assumption wrong. The most powerful tool you have for this is lane positioning. Your lane is not a narrow track, it is a chessboard with multiple positions. Typically, we think of the left track, the center, and the right track. Use them. Move within your lane to make yourself more conspicuous. When approaching an intersection, move to the part of the lane that gives you the best view of cross traffic. and makes you most visible to them. On a multi-lane highway, never ever linger in a car's blind spot. Either accelerate decisively to pass them or drop back so you can see the driver's face in their side mirror. Make eye contact. Use a brief flash of your high beams if you're unsure. Be assertive. Be the most dynamic, impossible-to-ignore object on the road. Mistake number 4. The tractor beam of target fixation. This is a terrifying and deeply counterintuitive psychological trap that has ended countless rides in disaster. You're cruising along, and suddenly, a hazard materializes in your path. A massive pothole, a car door swinging open, a piece of lumber on the road. Your brain's survival instinct kicks into high gear, screaming, "Danger! Avoid that thing!" And so, you stare at it. Your eyes lock onto the threat, trying to process its size, shape, and danger level. But here is the unbreakable law of operating a motorcycle. Where you look, you will go. By staring intently at that pothole, your body subconsciously provides the precise handlebar inputs required to steer you directly into it. It's like a mental tractor beam, pulling you toward the very thing you are desperate to avoid. You have, in essence, programmed your own crash. The solution requires deliberate, conscious practice until it becomes an automatic reflex. You must train your eyes to look for the escape, not the problem. The moment you identify a hazard, your primary, immediate job is to find the way out. Look for the empty space. Look for the path to safety. If a car suddenly pulls out in front of you, do not stare at its bumper. Instantly shift your gaze to the open lane beside it or the shoulder. If you spot gravel in a corner, do not stare at the gravel. Lock your eyes on the clean strip of pavement you want your tires to be on. Your hands and your bike will follow your gaze. Practice this on every single ride. Consciously look through the turn to the exit point, not at the ground 10 feet in front of you. Look past the car ahead, not at its license plate. Mastering your gaze is the key to mastering your motorcycle. Mistake number 5. The irrational, fear of the front brake. Ask any group of new or even intermediate riders what they're most afraid of in an emergency, and many will confess it's locking up the front wheel and going down. This fear is so pervasive that it creates a truly deadly habit, relying almost exclusively on the rear brake, especially in a panic situation. Here is the blunt, physics-based reality check. Somewhere between 70 and 80% of your motorcycle's total stopping power comes from the front brake. Why? Simple physics. When you brake, the motorcycle's weight transfers forward, pushing the front tire down into the pavement dramatically, increasing its contact patch and giving it immense grip. Conversely, the rear tire gets lighter, making it incredibly easy to skid and lose effectiveness. By predominantly using the rear brake, you are willingly and foolishly throwing away the vast majority of your ability to stop quickly. You are intentionally riding with one hand tied behind your back. The solution is to become intimately familiar with your front brake through practice. Find a large, empty parking lot. Start at a low speed, maybe 15 miles per hour. Practice squeezing the front brake lever smoothly, progressively, and firmly. Don't grab or snatch at it. Squeeze it as if you're squeezing a piece of fruit, feeling the weight transfer forward and the front forks compress. Gradually increase your speed and the firmness of your squeeze. Learn to feel where the limits of traction are. Then, practice combining both brakes. A good technique is to apply both simultaneously, but with a strong, progressive squeeze on the front and a lighter, steady pressure on the rear. An emergency stop should be a single, fluid, practiced motion not a panicked stomp and grab. Your life directly depends on your ability to use your most powerful safety tool effectively. Mistake number 6. Ignoring your personal gauges. You meticulously check your bike's tire pressure, your oil level, and your chain tension. But when was the last time you performed an honest systems check on yourself? We're talking about your internal gauges: fatigue, stress, anger, dehydration, and distraction. Riding a motorcycle requires a staggering amount of mental bandwidth. You are constantly calculating speeds, approach angles, road surface conditions, and the potential actions of every vehicle around you. When you are fatigued, your reaction time plummets, your judgment becomes clouded, and your decision-making slows. When you are angry or stressed after a terrible day at work, you are far more likely to ride aggressively, take unnecessary risks, and make impulsive emotional decisions. This state is often called red mist, and it's a fast track to a crash where you are the sole cause. You become the greatest danger on the road. The solution is to conduct a personal pre-ride check. Before you even throw a leg over the bike, be brutally honest with yourself. Are you tired? Did you get enough sleep? Are you emotionally agitated or upset? Are you properly hydrated? If the answer to any of these questions points to a problem, you must address it before you ride. Maybe that means taking 30 minutes to calm down and clear your head. Maybe it means drinking a full bottle of water. Or maybe, just maybe, it means making the difficult but incredibly mature decision to not ride at all that day. A true master of the machine knows when the greatest liability isn't on the road, but inside their own helmet. Respecting your human limitations is just as critical as respecting the bike's mechanical ones. Mistake number 7. The pack mentality trap. Riding with a group of friends can be one of the most rewarding and memorable experiences in motorcycling. But it can also become one of the most dangerous, if not managed correctly. The pack mentality trap occurs when the unspoken dynamic of the group overrides individual rider judgment and self-preservation. This manifests in several dangerous ways. Riders feel an internal pressure to keep up with a faster, more experienced leader, pushing them to ride far beyond their actual skill level. It happens when riders follow the person in front of them too closely, in a straight line, creating a chain reaction or domino effect if one person has to brake or swerve suddenly. And it happens when egos flare, turning what was supposed to be a scenic cruise into a reckless, unspoken street race. The solution is to establish clear rules and expectations before the first engine is even started. And every single rider must commit to one overriding principle: ride your own ride. Before you leave, agree on a leader and a sweep rider at the back. Agree on the route and on designated stopping points for regrouping. Most importantly, agree that no one will be intentionally left behind, and that absolutely no one should feel pressured to break their own comfort zone. On straight roads, use a staggered riding formation to create a safety buffer. But through corners, switch to single file to allow each rider to choose their own line. The most important rule of all is that your number one job is to manage your own motorcycle and your own safety. If the group starts going too fast for you, let them go. You know the destination. Catch up with them safely at the next stop. A true friend would much rather wait for you for 5 minutes at a gas station than visit you in a hospital for 5 weeks. Mistake number 8. A fundamental misunderstanding of cornering. Corners are the very soul of motorcycling. They are where we lean, where we feel the G-forces, where the dance truly happens. They are also where a massive percentage of single-vehicle motorcycle accidents occur. The common mistake isn't just about entering a corner with too much speed. It's a deeper, more fundamental misunderstanding of what the bike needs from you to navigate a turn safely and smoothly. Common errors include being inconsistent with the throttle mid-corner, which upsets the bike's suspension and stability, getting on the brakes in a panic when the turn suddenly feels tighter than expected, or failing to use proper counter-steering. The solution is a simple, 4-step process that should be drilled into your brain until it is pure muscle memory. Slow, look, press, and roll. 1. Slow. Do all of your significant braking while the bike is still upright in a straight line before you initiate your lean. Get down to your desired entry speed before the turn begins. 2. Look. This goes back to avoiding target fixation. As you approach the turn, get your head and eyes up and look through the corner to the exit. Look where you want to go. Your eyes will guide the entire process. 3. Press. To initiate the turn, you must counter-steer. To turn right, press forward on the right handlebar. To turn left, press forward on the left handlebar. The bike will lean into the turn. Trust the physics. Press on the inside bar until you achieve your desired lean angle. 4. Roll. As you pass the apex, which is the tightest point of the corner, smoothly and gently roll on the throttle. This isn't about hard acceleration. It's about stabilizing the suspension, transferring a little weight to the rear, and gently pulling the bike upright and out of the corner. Slow, look, press, roll. It is a symphony of controlled inputs that transforms cornering from a source of anxiety into the most sublime part of the ride. Mistake number 9. The pre-ride check fallacy. The thinking goes something like this. I just rode it yesterday. It's fine. This is the fallacy. Many riders, especially after they've been riding for a while, view the pre-ride check as a tedious, unnecessary chore meant only for absolute beginners. In reality, it is a vital, 2-minute conversation with your motorcycle that can, without any exaggeration, save your life. A motorcycle is a machine subjected to constant, intense vibration, stress, and extreme temperature cycles. Things loosen, things wear out, things can and do fail. Discovering a problem in the safety of your driveway is a minor inconvenience. Discovering that same problem at 70 miles per hour on the highway is a full-blown catastrophe. The mistake is skipping this crucial check out of complacency or haste. The solution is to make the T-Clocks inspection a non-negotiable ritual before every single ride. T-Clocks is an easy acronym that stands for Tires and Wheels, Controls, Lights, and Electrics, Oil and Fluids, and Chassis and Side Stand. It takes less time than it does for your bike to properly warm up. Check your tire pressure. Improper pressure is the #1 cause of poor handling. Squeeze your brake and clutch levers. Do they feel right? Glance at your lights, horn, and signals. Check your oil and brake fluid levels. Look for any drips on the ground beneath the bike. Give the handlebars a wiggle. Check your chain for proper tension. This isn't about being paranoid. It is about being a professional operator of a high-performance machine. It's about catching that low tire, that loose axle nut, or that frayed clutch cable before it has a chance to ruin your day or end your riding career. And finally, the master mistake. Number 10. Letting your ego write checks that your skills can't cash. This is the ultimate mistake. In many ways, it is the root cause of almost all the others. It is that little insidious voice in your head that tells you that you don't need all your gear because you're such a great rider and nothing will happen. It's the voice that goads you into racing that sport bike away from a stoplight to prove a point to no one. It's the voice that whispers that you can't let your friend pass you on a challenging, curvy road. Your ego is your single greatest enemy on a motorcycle. It makes you overconfident. It makes you trade smart, safe decisions for the fleeting feeling of looking cool. It makes you believe that bad things only happen to other, less skilled riders. The hard truth is that the road does not care about your ego. The laws of physics do not care how tough you think you are. One single moment of ego-driven recklessness can lead to a lifetime of pain and regret. The solution is the most difficult, one of all. It requires genuine humility and constant self-awareness. It requires you to consciously leave your ego in the garage every time you ride. Before you set off, remind yourself that you are vulnerable. Remind yourself that the goal is not to be the fastest rider on the road. The goal is to be the smoothest, the smartest, and the one who gets to ride home safely at the end of the day. It's about finding joy in the flawless execution of skill, not in the perceived glory of speed. A rider controlled by their ego is merely a passenger on their own bike, waiting for disaster. A rider who controls their ego is a true master of the machine. So there you have it. 10 mistakes that can turn the unparalleled freedom of the ride into a desperate fight for your life. This was not meant to scare you away from riding. It was meant to empower you, to give you the knowledge and the mindset to stack the deck in your favor. Riding a motorcycle is an inherently risky activity, but it does not have to be a gamble. Through constant learning, honest self-assessment, and a deep, abiding respect for both the power of your machine and your own human frailty, you can transform that risk into a manageable, exhilarating, and beautiful dance. Now, I'm turning it over to you. In the comments below, tell us, what is the #1 mistake you constantly see other riders making on the road? Or, what is a crucial lesson that you had to learn the hard way? Let's learn from each other's experiences and build a smarter, safer global riding community together. Ride smart, ride safe, and we will see you in the next one.